They say the biggest deal ever made, biggest deal ever made. And we have Europe coming in tomorrow and the next day. We have some other ones coming in. We're doing things that have never been done in this country before. And our country is becoming very rich again. And that's the way it should be. They're not taking advantage of us. And it's very good.
The biggest deal ever made. The biggest deal ever made. That's what the president is touting. Wow. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Franchise Pearson. Welcome again to my channel. July 23rd. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. I have 9:16 in the a.m. Let's say it together. Praise God, from whom all blessings flow. What is a deal? I mean, what is a deal? If I had to go to the Webster's Dictionary and get a deal, what is a deal? Let's go there, Pearson. Let's get the definition of a deal. Define deal.
Here's the definition of deal. Distribute cards in an orderly rotation to players for a game or round.
Yeah, that would make me think of Trump. What is the exact meaning? A business transaction. They closed the deal after a week of negotiating a bargain or arrangement for mutual advantage. In my mind, when I look at Trump's history, when I see the result of what's transpiring right now, this art of the deal, so to speak, to coin his phrase, it's not working, at least not in the interim. And I've said that before, but I want to delve a little bit deeper because the numbers are starting to come in. And I'm sure you're seeing it, and I'd like to have your reflection as well as your comments in the comment section as to what you're seeing in your neck of the woods. Because tariffs are being passed off to us. Now he just struck a 55, let me get this right. Trump just struck a deal with Japan, okay? $550 billion. I wonder why it's the 5-5. Well, there's a lot of symbology in this, and I will get to it. But what about the deal? What about our deal? He's saying it's a deal. What about our ordeal that we're in? People, it takes time for anything good when it comes to economics to ripple through an economy the size of America. I forget who bigger, China or America, but I know we're a consumer-based economy. We're a spend economy. We don't make as much as we used to. It's a high may help you economy. It's a service economy. You cannot grow an economy based on service. So again, in the interim, what's really going on? Well, I want to present that to you because it don't look good right about now. And I said that I don't trust Trump in relation to this because I have a historical perspective all the way back from the days of Jimmy Carter with Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, all the way back to the point where you had Papa Bush and you had saxophone playing Clinton having NAFTA, sending jobs overseas. And Mr. Lollipop had me some ice cream, Joe Biden, making the economy worse by bringing illegals over. We're fighting a lot of folks in the ring. And when something looks so good, you really got to examine it, people. Trump's a salesman. You got to admit, the man is a salesman. And he's got his disciples out there. They're on Face the Nation. They're on all the little networks on the weekend, and they're selling this thing. But I'm here, if I can, to dive a little bit deeper. And in hopes enough people can comment so you can see that it's having a nationwide effect. Tariff. Now, listen closely to this here.
Presidency. I want to transition your screen to give you a live look at the White House as we're learning a massive $550 billion trade deal has been reached with Japan. President Donald Trump confirming this information, adding it will create hundreds of thousands of jobs. I want to provide the latest remarks from the Commander-in-Chief as relates to this breaking news. I'm going to drop the banner so we can read it together. Take a look at your screen. President Donald Trump saying, quote, "We just completed a massive deal with Japan, perhaps the largest deal ever made. Japan will invest, at my direction, $550 billion into the United States, which will receive 90% of the profits. This deal will create hundreds of thousands of jobs. There has never been anything like it." President Donald Trump goes on to say, quote, "Perhaps most importantly, Japan will open their country to trade, including cars and trucks, rice, and certain other agricultural products and other things. Japan will pay reciprocal tariffs to the United States of 15%. This is a very exciting time for the United States of America, and especially for the fact that we will continue to always have a great relationship."
Now, here it says, Japan Prime Minister on trade deal with the United States. With the deal of prioritizing investment over tariffs, Japan and the U.S. have reached a deal that will benefit both sides. Automobile tariffs and reciprocal tariffs will be 50%. I sincerely thank Donald Trump for his tremendous leadership. Grateful to Minister Akazawa and all those involved on both sides of their dedicated efforts. Together with the president, we will build a new golden era for Japan and the U.S. I feel in my spirit the same spirit that allowed these countries to have their cake and eat it too, cherry on top, whipped cream. They already had their golden moment. And like I said in other videos, these trade policies were done on purpose historically because this is a future hit. The powers play future past because they orchestrate America in relation to the fallen angels. You're probably not going to see economic videos with that perspective, but I'm going to give it to you. Fallen angels are in negotiation and they see future past. They know how to administrate. It looks good now, but it will cream you later. A lot of folks became millionaires during that period, and now folks are rushing for the digital age of gold and silver and AI and crypto. You know the story. I've been over it. They set us up. Now, they said, how much money did they say? 550 billion? 5-5? There's your 5-5 coincidentally. And you might be saying, oh, Pearson, how can you bring that in perspective? When I show you these numbers, you're going to sit back, and if you got some coffee, you're just going to have it in your lap like, I would have never thought of this. When I got up this morning, I had a few videos on my mind. Then I sat here and I'm like, God, let's go. I'm like, let's go. What is it that you want to show me today? And I'm going to show you what he showed me. But let's go a little bit further into this thing. What's happening with these companies? What is it showing up now since tariffs began? In fact, let's go into this thing. When did Donald Trump start tariffs?
According to Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia, On April
So that was April 2nd. Thank God for a sharp mind. I got a little rest so I can think on my feet. Let's look at something. Let's look at this historical move by Trump. We're talking April 2nd, 4/2. Let's look at this. 4/2/2025 versus yesterday. Japan. Oh my Lord. I told y'all, look at this. It's the devil. Somebody put in the chat yesterday, Pearson, what is this 111? Every day somebody asking me. I'm telling you, it's destruction. Oh, Jesus. Hallelujah. April 2nd, a day he called Liberation Day. Trump declared a national emergency regarding the national trade deficit and announced reciprocal tariffs on all countries not subject to other sanctions. A baseline 10% tariff on nearly all U.S. imports took effect on April 5th. God can speak through this realm. You just got to give it to him. April 2nd, 2025, from yesterday, he struck the deal with Japan. 7/22/25, come out the one. What is 111? The Pope died on the 111th day of the year. That's April 21st. The basketball championship that ended 3 weeks ago. OKC and Indiana Pacers, they both had a game where they won by 1-1-1. And I showed you guys, welcome new subscribers and welcome those from Jurassic. Let's look at something. Got to give the Lord his praise. I'm going to give him his praise this morning because I want y'all to see something. I want you to see what you're not going to see nowhere else. That's why I need you guys to support the channel, help the channel. Because God shows me things you're not going to see nowhere else. So you can keep respecting what this devil's doing. Now, Texas. See that 111, the mailbox? I did this video. Camp Mystic, 111. Here's another one, Guadalupe, 111. You got to watch these videos so you can understand what's going on. Every time you turn around, 111 is coming up. The sole survivor from India 3 weeks ago was on a plane to India. He survived. He was sitting in seat A11. A is the first letter of the alphabet. A is 1, and you got 1-1. That's 111. Why does 111 keep speaking, people? How is it that the trade thing started from Donald J. Trump on April 2nd, and then he struck the biggest deal so far, and they said the other ones are just for future, but this one is cemented from Japan, and it come out to 111. This is disaster. Was Texas not a disaster? That flood? They're speaking. This is not a good move. I'm not trusting Trump. Now watch this. Let's go a little bit deeper. Oh, it's deep. It's deep. There's your 55. And see, the power speak on so many levels. They're showing you how he's going to be unalive, just like Julius Caesar. But it's also showing you that there's something nefarious going on. Do you understand? And like I said, Trump's not going to be here when all this stuff start hitting the fan. He's going to be somewhere golfing. They're going to fake the thing like they did July 13th in Butler, Pennsylvania. Yeah, I said it, fake. Now watch this here. Listen. Thank you.
General Motors released earnings yesterday. That we also heard from Stellantis, the maker of Jeep. Things aren't going well. It's starting to hurt. We're starting to see the tariff impact, and we're going to continue to see that over the next few weeks. It's my favorite part of the quarter. It's earnings season. We get to learn how much money companies are making, why they're losing money in some cases, and the tariff story is going to be a huge part of that conversation.
Because the last time you were here, just a few weeks.
Now, you can see that automotive, people are starting to hurt already.
been felt, it seemed. Is this the start of that? Are we beginning to see, I mean, the result of Trump deferring a lot of these trade deals and deadlines? Is it now finally happening, impact season?
We're seeing the profit impact for sure. I mean, some might argue, well, General Motors is going to be okay. They still made plenty of money, but they made less money than they would have if these tariffs weren't in place. I mean, it's wealth destruction. Because they're making less money, they have less money to invest in AI or any other technology that would make their company grow faster or allow them to hire more employees. So while you may look at GM's announcement and say, I think that's a massive company, they're going to be fine, there is some sort of effect on everyday Americans if this continues to show up in a big way across large companies.
Goods and services are going up. Tariffs, this initial impact, which God only knows how long it's going to go. Look, Trump is only on his 5th deal. Do you know how many trade partners we have around the world? We only got 5 deals in the works, of which the first one was sealed yesterday. The other ones, like I said, are for the future. They still kind of, I guess, negotiating, for lack of a better term. Canada's not budging still. The definition of a deal is not what you think it should be. It's a crucifixion of our economy. And as she just said, she said wealth destruction. And so what happened is these companies are going to lay off, cut back. They're not going to keep up in terms of competing. And other countries that, look, in terms of true growth, growing it in terms of AI and automation, people, let me just go to the next one. Listen.
So a $500+ billion investment from Japan into the United States. We're still awaiting some of the key details on that, but a Japanese official says that this is going to be an investment into key industries like pharmaceuticals and semiconductors. Japan also, according to President Trump, agreeing to open up trade with the U.S. on cars, rice, and other agriculture. Now, there's this 15% tariff the U.S. is going to charge on imports from Japan, and that tariff critically extends to cars and car parts. However, a 50% tariff still remains on steel and on aluminum. Now, just to remind you of where we are when it comes to U.S. tariffs on Japan, back in early April, the president threatened and actually briefly imposed a 24% tariff on Japan, one of America's closest allies. And in just over a week, tariffs from the U.S. on Japan were set to go up to 25%. This deal, again, says 15%. So better than the worst case that a lot of people have been worried about, but also higher than tariffs, of course, had been before the president.
Jerome Powell, with his purple tie, he spoke on inflation, where we're at.
The U.S. economy is in solid shape. Inflation has come down. The unemployment rate remains at 4.2%. As I mentioned, real wages are moving up. Did you
hear what he said? He said everything is okay. The deal is a lie. You know the economy is not great. Listen to him again. Like that's why I brought the video last week in relation to him. When I said that Trump might fire him on a certain date. It's an illusion. They're skateboarding with our conscience, giving us the impression we're on a nice, joyous summer ride in the breeze, listening to nice music, and everything's okay. They're selling a lie. It's not okay. Listen to them again.
What I can say is that the U.S. economy is in solid shape. Inflation has come down. The unemployment rate remains at 4.2%. As I mentioned, real wages are moving up. It's a good job creation is at a healthy level. Unemployment, again, as I said, low. Force participation in a good place. So, and what we're waiting for to reduce rates is to understand what will happen with really the tariff inflation. And there's a lot of uncertainty about that. Every forecaster you can name who is a professional forecaster with adequate resources and forecasts for a living is forecasting a pretty significant. Everyone that I know is forecasting a meaningful increase in inflation in coming months from tariffs.
Everybody he knows is forecasting it. But what he's not telling you is what I want you guys to put in the comment section. Because from what I'm seeing every day, things have gone up and companies are starting to hurt, especially that in relation to steel.
And it is day 177 of the second Trump administration. And tonight, new inflation numbers are confirming what many economists have predicted, that Trump's tariffs would drive prices higher and higher. U.S. inflation accelerated in the month of June, according to the latest report, with the Consumer Price Index rising 2.7% from a year earlier. The biggest driver, housing costs. But food and gas prices also rose. Economists were quick to react to the data, and I'm talking nonpartisan economists, the ones who work at banks, okay? Bank America warning that the report provides, quote, ample evidence that the tariffs are being passed on to consumers, while Wells Fargo noted, quote, one of the top questions we get involves when will we see the impact of tariffs on consumer spending? The time is now.
The time is now. Now I'm going to show you some numbers. Just be patient. The end of the video is going to blow your mind, I promise. But I want to read something to you. They're skipping car payments. That's the final sign. This just came out July 18th, 2025. The headlines say inflation is easing and jobs remain strong, but consumers are skipping car payments. The Fed claims to be data-driven, but if you're watching behavior, not just backward-looking numbers, in other words, lies, the signals are showing. Last month, I highlighted how mortgage delinquencies are rising fast. The piece resonates because it cut through the noise. By the time the official data confirms it, you're already missing the boat. You think there's not a propaganda machine in concert with the White House? You better think again. You better think again. They want a one world system. They want the thing to crash. So they can't tell you the truth. Because you would raise, you know what kind of hell. Now we're seeing it again in auto loans. Delinquencies, especially among subprime borrowers, are spiking. This matters. People will skip everything else before they lose their car. That's how they get to work. If they're missing payments now, the strain is already severe. The Fed says it's data-driven, but when consumers start skipping car payments, it's no rounding error. It's a flashing alarm. Lending Tree reports 5.1% of Americans are now delinquent on auto loans, with 2% at least 30 days behind and 1% 90 days behind. It's deep. This is deep. All information is here. All information is here, but let me scurry on. Look this up. Just look this up. You can just put in Forbes and put in their skipping car payment. It's an excellent article. Now check this out. Trade deal. This is gonna blow your mind. You ain't gonna see this nowhere else. Holy Spirit gave it to me this morning. When did America go to war with Japan? Now, why am I bringing it up? This is the country that Trump said he just had the biggest deal with. Ain't that what he said? The biggest deal. Where he at? Out here. Look at that.
Say the biggest deal ever made. Biggest deal ever
The
made.
biggest deal. 550 billion. 550 billion. Trade war. The words are war. Look. We went to war with them on Japan December 7th. It ended September 2nd. Watch this. December 2nd, September 2nd. December 7th, September 2nd. December 7th, 2025. December 7th is the anniversary of when the war started with Japan. 7/22/2025, Trump struck a deal with Japan. The difference is 4/21. What is 4/21? The Pope died on 4/21. Don't start screaming, baby. I ain't done. Look. 9/2. What is 9/2? 9/2. That's when the war ended with Japan. 9/2. 9/2, 1945, the war ended with Japan. 7/22, 2025, Trump struck a deal with Japan. The difference is 79 years. Trump is 79 years old. 46 weeks. 46 means death. George Floyd, George Orwell, JFK, they all died at 46 years old. And 79 is Trump. It's speaking. It's speaking about him, and it's speaking about our country. It's speaking about a new religious system. It's speaking. Tell me what you think. I know your mouth is dropping. It's crazy.